Hello.
Hello. I can hear.
Hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you. And then now I
Right.
can hear you too.
Okay, yeah, it's picking up him. That's picking us up. Us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think everything's fine.
Yeah. So it's good now.
Probably.
Alright. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I just had dinner, so.
Yeah, us too. Just had to eat something real quick. Yeah. It's just a weird mix of stuff.
Yeah, now we're slightly bloated.
Nah.
Always a pleasure.
Now.
Yes, you start by drinking pop.
I do sometimes.
Yeah, and then you're gonna burp for the rest of this.
That'll be like our normal videos. Alright. Now, what should we start with? That's a good question for Alex. Alex Love.
How about ask you his last name because you don't know?
Because I'm trying to figure out your last name again. It was like Love something.
Liberty, yeah.
Liberty.
Hmm.
I like it. So we got the basics down. First
Yeah.
to the last.
We got the first name right. We possibly have the second name there. That's all we have.
Do you have a middle
Like-
name?
Should I formally introduce myself or something?
Oh, yeah, you can.
Okay. Well, hi. My name's Alex, aka AploveStudio. I'm the sole creator of Roseblight and a couple other stuff as well. So,
Wait.
yeah, I've been probably doing game dev for I want to say maybe 3 years, probably more, but that's like the most consider myself like an active working on stuff.
So when you actually started just liking it more, or just got more into it, okay, I'm gonna make this game.
So I've technically been doing it since middle school, but that kind of stuff was just early middle school prototypes and stuff like that.
Mm.
But most of that was just just messing around, trying to learn how to program. I was still trying to learn how to program, but yeah, it's just I think I've only been actively making doing game jams or putting stuff out there or putting stuff on social media about my work in progress stuff. That's I've been doing for about 3-ish years or so. So
Yeah, and we've been playing those games for a while.
Yeah, when we went
Yeah.
back to your itch page and stuff, it was huh.
yeah.
Yeah, and then we didn't even know you were the same person, I think, from Blind Sight to Roseblight to other ones.
So it was the wizard something. It was
Mage swap.
Mage Swap. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when we first played it, I just couldn't get into it. So I was I want to like it, but then probably not gonna put it up. And then
Yeah.
time passed, and
That one's kind of weird. I kind of just that was a jam submission. I kind of just wanted to make Undertale, except it was 2-player, and I kind of just went with that idea, and I was like, it's okay. I think when I was showing it off to people, there were a lot of people were really confused on how to play it.
No, because
So,
the art and everything is there. The gameplay,
Yeah.
it was there, but it was slightly off.
yeah,
So it was okay, we can possibly do 2 players, but one of them's going to be overpowered, and the other one has to figure out how to not die.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
But no, there's some of those games where you're the boss and you're just trying to destroy your friend or the other one. And the only thing I could think of is game that we played a long time ago is God Save the Queen, where you're the sniper and then someone is in the crowd and you gotta find them, where you're just that overpowered, just one shot and then dead. and then you switch off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because for a game where like one's the boss and then you switch, then you have to at least balance it enough. But it's really hard because neither side can really be too powerful or too weak, which is kind of impossible. Mainly when you want to try to get like both sides to at least be cool enough to want to be either one.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Left 4 Dead, you would actually want to be a survivor, and then you would actually want to be a zombie because both of them have their own benefits and their own weaknesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I really liked how you thought it was something that was like doing well, like Undertale, and you wanted to like just change it. It like want to have those mini games, but just that. It, like you just switch off from 2 players. I was like, that's good.
Yeah.
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 And then the whole conversation is just
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of like jam games, I think like smaller ones, those are really good for just exploring just like random ideas, you know? Like if you just have like an idea, it's like, oh, what if I made a game where you did this, or I'm going to do that. And if you do like a jam game that falls under that theme, it's like, oh yes, I can try out this idea. And then you try it out and it doesn't really work as well as you thought. And you're like, oh well. Or maybe it works out in your favor and you're like, oh yeah, this is really cool. I want to turn this into a full game.
Yeah.
No, because also certain people, like, it's a very random, super random thing. Like, the topic is watermelon, and then they somehow make this amazing game in like 3 days or a week, and then end up making it into a full game that, like, it doesn't even make sense of how good it is.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of games that just like start off as like Ludum Dare projects and then they just become like full-fledged games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see that.
Yeah, because you've basically started off with just a very limited time with limited assets and like rushing it, but then you still somehow make something that can be built upon into like a thing that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely for jam games, it's best to not like overscope your project. Like you definitely want to like have like just like the core, like this is the minimum viable product. This is like the core gameplay. And then if you decide you want to continue working on it, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna keep working on it, you know?
Yeah, because like you start off with one thing and it's like, oh, this is a really good idea. I can build upon this. But then you're building too much and you forget about the one thing that you're supposed to actually start with.
Yeah.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
Was Buckler 1 a jam one, or was that just a small one from before?
So that was actually when I was first like trying to learn how to make a platformer, I tried different prototypes and that was the one that I like quote unquote like finished. I think the very first platformer that I made was like you played as like this Cyclops dude and he like threw hammers at walls and stuff like that. Sort of like a hammer bro from Mario Bros.
Yeah.
So I thought like, oh, what if I made like a game where it's like you play as a hammer bro? And then I made like one level and I was like, oh, well, this isn't a very intuitive mechanic. So, and then I kind of just experimented with other stuff and I was like, I think I was inspired by Splatoon at the time. So I was like, oh, what if I just made like a platform that's sort of like Splatoon?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of just made that and was like, oh, well, I gave the main character a shield and I was like, okay, this is cool. You can just run around with a shield. And I should call it Buckler because a Buckler is a type of shield.
Yeah. Because I remember editing like Buckler 2. I was like, what's a Buckler? Looked it up. It was like, oh, it's a tiny little like armor or little circle shield.
Yeah, it's like the little shield that has like a nipple.
Yeah, so bucklers, they're like tiny little like shields that you can like use for fencing or stuff like that. And I was thinking, well, what if I just made the shield like a huge shield and called it the buckler? And it was like, what if that's like a big shield, tiny shield name or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Plus, I thought it just kind of sounded cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then also like putting the main character as like, you're kind of the weaker one, but the most powerful one too. Like you're gonna change the world at least. Like just a booklet.
Yeah.
And then you just run
Change
like a
the world.
train.
What? Yeah. I wanted to. Yeah, I kind of just wanted to make a game where you just like run around smashing people with a shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Always
in one of the levels where it's just like straight and it's just like bridge and stuff where you just like mow through all of them like just.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, I was like, "This platforming."
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't touched Bucko 2 in a long time, so I've kind of forgotten like what most of the levels look like.
Because I remember some of them you did make like flat with some platforms. But most of them had like slants, and then one of them I think had like a waterfall that you can swim up.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't really swimming, it was just like you can just jump while in the water. So.
Yeah. And then hope that nobody falls on top of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what's another game that you've done?
Well, there's that space one.
Oh, you're thinking that far back too.
The what's it called? Broken Orbit?
Yeah, that one.
So that one I don't really consider that one to be like mine. The same thing with Blindsight. Those are the first two like jam games that I made, and with those ones I worked with other people on them.
Mm-hmm.
I have them on my itch page because no one else on both of those teams didn't really have an itch page at the time, so I was like, well, I'll just put it on mine. So, but I don't really consider those ones, even though I worked on them. For Blindsight itself, the only thing that I really did was like the character models and Blindsight, the boss, and the darkness stuff. Everything else was made by other people. And for Broken Orbit, that one I did the level design. Well, the quote-unquote level design. We were supposed to have like multiple levels, but we didn't have enough time for making them, so we only had like the tutorial area. I was making like the first level, but there was something wrong that went wrong with like GitHub or something like that, and we just like lost a lot of time because we were trying to figure out how to get that to work. And we had like a lot of people on our team, like, and it was just like got really chaotic. So we were just like, this isn't working. So that game is just like bleh.
Yeah. And then we ended up breaking it and then floating in space and then looking at the little planet.
Yeah, I think there was like, when you jump out of the spaceship, there's like a cutscene that like something crashes into the planet or something like that.
Yeah, like it was trying to go, but then it was like, just heard the noise and then, what was that?
Yeah.
And then went.
Yeah, and then we just floated in space and floated.
Yeah.
Because
I remember when we were testing out that game, one of the things I did, because that was made in Unreal actually, and I was messing around with Unreal because I never used it before. And one of the things that that's in the game is the like when you shoot the gun, it like launches you backwards. You have like the donut gun, right? So it launches you backwards. One of the things I did when I was in Unreal is that I accidentally created that mechanic when I added like a backwards recoil to like the default gun you get. And so when I did that, there wasn't like a reload time. So it was like a machine gun that launched you backwards. And so when I applied that, I started messing around with it, and I basically had like a machine gun jetpack. I was like, and I flew off into the skybox, and that was fun. So,
yeah, because more recently we have been playing more like puzzle games that have been doing that mechanic, where the gun would just propel you throughout the stage, which most of the time it does work pretty well because like you're kind of heavy enough that you don't just fly straight into a wall, but you like float a little bit, and usually the spikes aren't like everywhere. So like it basically acts like a jetpack, and you have to float through certain spots. Just some people do make it super hard, and there's like things that will kill you all around you, but you have to shoot the gun like so slightly.
Like you need like a precise like angle to like to shoot. Yeah.
And then some people put it as like their first or second level, when they have like 20. So no one gets to actually see the rest of your game.
Yeah. And then I was gonna ask it earlier, like, have you ever like worked with anyone and you like worked with the people in the jam? Was there like any other instance, or was that like the only time you wanted to work with anyone?
So those two games, out of all the ones that are on my itch page, I think those are the only two that I worked with other people on. Everything from that point forward, I think I did myself. Yeah, I think those are the only two that I worked with other people on. But yeah.
Do you just not like working with other people, or do you just prefer knowing that it's yours?
Yes to both of those. I'm probably better. I work better by myself when I have like most of control over everything. I think I'm probably in a better position as far as like group dynamics go, is if I'm either by myself or if I'm sort of like a someone who's under, like, if you have like a leader and you have like someone who's under the leader, I would prefer to be in that position. So, and in both of the cases where I did work with other people, we didn't really have a team dynamic. So I either ended up being the team leader or I didn't really end up contributing a lot. And every other jam that I've done, I don't know. I didn't really have the desire to work with other people because I kind of wanted to see what I was capable of.
So
I'm not opposed to working with other people. I don't know. I think for certain projects, I personally like to work by myself just to see what I'm capable of accomplishing.
So you like to just like push yourself to see like, what could I do next, or what could I alter from like an idea I had, like in Roseblight. Like I know you implemented like some of the new characters. Like I remember you put in the blind sight guy just dead in the hallway.
Yeah.
I was like, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, your whole Aploveverse.
Yeah, I've got my own cinematic universe, or whatever it is, the connected universe. It's really interesting. Like when I make like a jam project, I usually try not to tie it into the connected universe until like the very end. So I kind of like, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's like a thing I do for all my games. I sort of, well, most of them, I have them all like sort of like loosely connected to each other. So,
because I remember when we were talking to Riss and everything, and we were trying to figure out if it's like a different planet or an alternate universe thing. I was like, which one is it?
for which one?
For just like your whole like Aploveverse of like, is it just like on different planets or just like the alternate things?
So I forgot how many, what all the planets are. Let's see, Buckler 2, Clockwatch, Roseblight, and those all take place on different planets. Not in the same solar system. Like they're all like very far apart. But a lot of this stuff, I think there's only one that I made that takes place on Earth, which is the top-down zombie one I made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one that has like that takes place on Earth, and that's like in the future. All of the games that, like, as far as like the lore for all the games go, they all take place like sort of in the distant future, with the earliest one being like around 100 years from now or so. So, but I like having all this stuff just sort of like connected in a way. I don't know. It's just it leaves a lot of like plot hole stuff open, like, because I have to, like, in a way I have to sort of restrain myself, because like some of the stuff that's like happened in the previous games, I have to be like, oh, this also has to happen. It's like like now that I don't want to say too much, but it's having stuff sort of like, be like connected. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't really see a lot of like people doing that with like games that they've made, especially like ones that like especially game jam submissions. Like
No, but also like a bunch of people kind of feel like their previous work isn't really needed to be put into their current work because it wasn't as good, or they don't feel like it needs to be like brought back.
Yeah.
Because as for you, like, it's really good that you're actually looking back to at your old work and putting it into a bigger project like Roseblight, because you already mixed in the clock watch.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I love that. It's like you're actually just pulling from your old ideas and then bringing new life to them.
Yeah, I know that for Blindsight, the jam game I made, I was really proud of the boss battle, and I was like, damn, I really want to use this for something. And I just kind of feel bad, so I was like, what if I add it to this other game I'm working on? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's good to look back at your previous work just to sort of get inspiration, because people change over time. Like I change over time, and like sometimes I look back at like my old work and I'm like, wow, was I better at art back then than I am now?
Oh,
Or like am I better at like so like I think it's good to like look back at like your old stuff and just be like, okay, I see that. And sort of I guess you can sort of inspire yourself in a way. So
because when I look at like my old just art or other stuff, like I used to sketch more, and some of these parts like that I drew actually looks really good. It's like now I need to put that on the canvas or on a different thing to make it look better.
Yeah, but then also the problem is like if you try to make something that you previously did, it's like, okay, I can do better now, but when I try to, it's not as good.
Yeah. Well, I guess like as far as like making art's concerned, I think like people's like styles change over time. So it's like if you try to redraw something that you made a long time ago, like usually you can't draw the same thing like twice unless you like really try.
Yeah.
So like for example, like my art style like has changed for like a long time. Like I look at my old art and like, whoa, that's like different. So, so I think it's I don't know. I think it just depends on like what you're comfortable with, I guess.
No, because also even like with Spudcats, like when we started, I think 5-6 years ago now.
Yeah, almost 6 years now.
Yeah.
Like we had to have another person there because like we didn't like just being me and Omar.
Yeah, like it was like a little while ago where I was just talking to Alex and stuff and telling him that there was a third guy named Tony. It's like,
yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, like we
I don't
started.
think I've seen any of the videos.
Yeah, like we started off of not being able to do that, and then we did it on our own, and now we're way different than we were from the beginning.
Yeah.
We can't really tell if we're better or worse because before we were just saying whatever we wanted, which we don't know if it was funny or not. But now, like, we're slightly better, maybe.
Yeah, I guess just different. I guess like I don't know. It changes over time. You don't necessarily like get better over time, but you do change.
Yeah.
So like, the style of your videos now versus the style of them like a long time ago.
Yeah, because
Definitely
also
different.
depends on like because like when we first started, we used like Windows Movie Maker.
Oh yeah,
So we were very
the
limited.
best software.
Yeah, we were very limited on whatever we did. So we did actually kind of try harder in the videos, so that we wouldn't have to edit anything. But then when we got better technology, we could actually do more with it. So it did change like our style because we could actually do things.
Yeah.
and then for me, as the editor and stuff,
You're still the editor.
back then I edited way more than I do now. Like only sometimes I get like inspired or just like I want to do something funny right here, and just try to make someone laugh. Even if it's just like one person, that feels good.
Yeah.
Because also, like, even for a game or like for a video or anything, sometimes you just have to make it for yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I want this character in there. I don't care if anybody else likes him or not, but I like it.
Yeah.
Like, I want this random joke, even if I'm the only one who gets it, then at least I can laugh at my own thing.
Yeah. Well, it's good to laugh at your own jokes every now and then, you know? It's good to, you know, be proud of like whatever jokes or whatever like videos that you make. You know, as long as you're proud of it, and you're like, I'm happy that I made this. That's good, you know.
Or later on you can regret it and kind of be like, I was kind of dumb back then.
Well, regrets are just ways of learning, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. How'd you come across with Roseblight? Because I know that's like your biggest project and you love it. It's just like, how did it come to be?
How did it come to be? So I actually like the idea behind it. I sort of started working on it while I was working on Buckler 2, because I was working on Buckler 2 and I was like, this game's all right. But I think I want to start working on my next one like after I finish this one, because I was like in the process of like just like finishing it. So I was like, I wonder what I could do for my next game. And I was thinking like, I definitely do want to make like some kind of like RPG of some kind, like a top-down thing. And that's probably where I got the idea to sort of make Buckler 2 and Roseblight sort of connected. So I was like, well, what if I made these two games sort of like connected? I'd make like a sequel to the game I'm currently working on, but I just like make it completely different and only tied in together lore-wise. So that's how Marmot became like, you know, a part of Roseblight. I don't think Marmot was originally a Buckler 2 character. I think he was an idea I made for Roseblight specifically, and because I was still working on Buckler 2, I was like, well, if I'm going to tie the two games together, I should make this character that I made for Roseblight also a character in Buckler 2, so that way it's like, oh, so they're the same. So Marmot was originally supposed to be like the same character, but he wasn't like a Regrogen. He wasn't like a character from Buckler 2. I think that's why Marmot shows up at the very end of Buckler 2, and you never really see him until the very end. So
yeah, just like a villain reveal, just like on the last page of a book. It's like, it's this guy, and then you gotta wait until later.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for Roseblight, after I finished working on Buckler 2, I was like, okay, well, this game is okay, so I'm gonna start working on my next one. I started making like a prototype afterward. I think I actually started working on a prototype as I was waiting for Steam to sort of like go through with putting Buckler 2 on Steam, because you have to like send the game to them and they have to like approve it and stuff like that. So while I was waiting on that, I was like, I'll start working on a prototype. So I started working on like a prototype for like a turn-based system where you like, you know, how the previous combat was. So I made a prototype for that, and I started making sprites, and I was like, okay, I would like this cute overalls character. And I think the first enemy I made was the Barbles. So I had the Barbles, and they walked around, and you go, bup, 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 and then they go, bup, 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 bup. So and I took that prototype and showed it to other people, and they're like, oh, that's okay. I was like, okay, well. And then it kind of went from there. I started working on, you know, adding trees. I started working on adding walls and houses and pathways, and just started just adding stuff. And I think the very first room that I added to the game was the room that Creffer's house is in. So that room specifically was pretty much where it all started, and everything just sort of branched from there. So like you have Overall's house, which goes to the left, and you have the Griswold town, which goes south from there, and you have like the little wilderness area off to the right. And so I sort of just like branched off in different directions, and then I sort of just went along the way as I was doing it. So like a lot of stuff that I've added to Roseblight, I sort of had like an idea. Like I wanted to have like a town area, I want to have like a beach area, I want to have like an area that's like a cave, and I have like the ruins area. And then as I was building that stuff, I was like, I'm gonna do a little bit of improvisation here and there. So I kind of just like added some stuff off to the side. So a lot of the stuff that's like the push block puzzles, I kind of just added that as like an extra like, okay, so I just want to have like a little extra thing here. Maybe I can add like collectibles, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Because I remember the puzzle in the ruins. You put like the buttons hidden in the trees. But
yeah,
didn't
that
know
one,
that
I was
before.
really proud of that one. I was like, okay, what if I just made like a puzzle that I made like a push block puzzle, but I made it really hard and no one was able to solve it. And I was like, okay, what if this is the actual puzzle? So I was like,
Yeah, because
that was really funny.
you even put like that little hint, and then I think Omar
Yeah,
even
don't solve the puzzle.
yeah, and then I think Omar even pushed one of the buttons by accident, but didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Because I was hearing like the little noise of the ding or just the little explosion. I was like,
I tried to hide them. So I was like, okay, well, it said like the four corners. So I was like, if the player can get to like the actual four corners of the room, they hear the click. I think by that point they'll figure it out. So
Well, for us, it took like years to figure that out.
yeah, I don't imagine. Well, I definitely do want to have. I do like adding puzzles to Roseblight. That was something that I've been wanting to do. I wanted because that's something that I've done in like D&D campaigns that I've run. Because I use Dungeon Master for some of them, and one of the things that I would do is I would just put random puzzles everywhere, and if my players solved it, they would get like a reward. And because I like doing that, I decided to put that in Roseblight as well. So I definitely in the future, I don't think I'm going to add too many more puzzles, but I do want to have some that are like almost impossible to solve or are like there's one that I kind of want to do where you have to use basically time travel to solve it.
oh, that's cool.
So like using because recently I added like multiple save files, and one of the things I want to do is that you go into a room and there's like I guess like a counter, and there's like two switches, right? And if you flip one switch, the counter goes up by a certain amount. And if you flip the other switch, then it flips off the other switch, and the counter goes up by another amount. And the only reason you'll be able to solve the puzzle is if you flip one switch, go to another save file, and then you go into that room, and you'll see that the switch that you flipped previously in the other save file is on. So you go to the other one and you flip that, and then that's how you get like a pallet chart or something like that. So like traveling between save files to flip both of the switches, because if you flip one, the other one just flips off. So.
This is so freaking cool, man.
Yeah, it's kind of. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that, but I think that'd be really cool if I could pull it off.
This just sounds like one of those random like Easter eggs that are solved like years later. Like, oh, all you had to do is like switch this little thing that's at the end of the game, and then go all the way back somehow. It's like, oh,
yeah,
this is sounds freaking cool.
Yeah, adding Easter eggs is fun. It's just like just add like a bunch of just like random stuff that you just know people aren't going to find. And I know that maybe people won't find them, but when you point them out and when someone does find it, it just feels great because I like finding Easter eggs in games or just like finding secrets in general. It's a nice feeling.
No, because also I think recently there was, let's see, I think in Homefront, like they put in all of Time Splitters 2 into the game, and like nobody found out about it for like years. And then the developer said on Twitter that there was still like one Easter egg and kind of hinted of how to get it. And then like people did figure out like how to go through the system and activate it. But yeah, it took like 10 years or something like that.
Yeah. It was really cool seeing stuff like that.
Yeah. Because, yeah, even like some of the really old games that are like 20 years old or so, people are still finding brand new Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Okay, now, do you remember like when was like the first time you just got like a fan of your game? Like you made like a bunch of games, but then someone actually commented on your itch or something, or just said something.
First time I ever got like a like a fan. Well, the thing is that getting fans for your game is it's sort of like an exponential thing. Like for the first couple of games that I've made, they didn't get like a lot of downloads. They get like maybe a 5, and most of them were from people that I know. So I guess the first fans that I ever got for my games is people that I know like IRL. And the thing is that when you make games as you go along, you start to make better and better ones, and each one that you make, because it's better, it just generally just attracts more people. So I think just like I don't know. Wait,
Could the like Buckler 2
yeah,
get any traction? Like
Buckler 2 itself, not really. I think it has like 3 reviews on Steam right now, so I don't think it's like it's not that great of a game. I didn't really anticipate it being like, oh, the next big platform or anything like that. It's the next Celeste or anything like that, because I didn't know that, because I knew like as I was in the process of releasing it, I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't really gonna go anywhere. So I just figured I'm just gonna put it on Steam and see where it goes. And so I think it didn't really get that much attention as I was. And the weird thing is that as I was making like other jam games, I have like, after I made Buckler 2, because I spent like a long time working on it, when I made other jam games that like got more popular than Buckler 2, I was like, okay, so yeah, effort does not equal popularity. So
yeah.
I think for Roseblight specifically, I think the first time I sort of got like an influx of like fans was when I sent an email to Alpha Beta Gamer, and they made a video on it, and I was like, I didn't really expect them to like make a video on it. What sort of motivated me to reach out to them was when I saw people that were following me on Twitter, or like mutuals on Twitter, they were having their games featured by them, and I was like, oh, well, if they can get their games featured on them, maybe I can reach out to them. I don't know. So I sent them an email, and I was like, hey, play my game. You can play for like 20 minutes or so. Really appreciate it. Thanks. And then afterwards, I think like a week later, I saw that they followed me on Itch, and I was like, oh no. And then a couple of days later after that, I saw they made a YouTube video. I was like, oh no.
It's like,
So
when are they going to reveal?
Yeah.
It's like, I put all this work, and then like,
Yeah.
where are they going to find the bugs, the things I left in there? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, these people are actually professionals. They know
Yeah,
what
they
I
know
did
what they're
wrong.
doing. What if I got myself into? Yeah, I remember like as soon as the video came out, I put a comment on the video. I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm the guy who made the game. Thank you guys for playing." And then I spent like the next like 72 hours responding to comments on my comment, being like, "Oh yeah, I like your game. Thank you. Blah blah blah." I don't like your game. It's got too many memes in it. Blah 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 blah. So, but yeah, that was definitely an experience for me. I think that's probably like the first time that I wasn't really expecting that. Actually, any kind of popularity I've gotten from this, but I have not expected it at all. Like I wasn't really I wasn't really like anticipating anything. I was just, oh well, whatever happens happens, And I try not to set my expectations too high for whatever I make, because if setting your expectations too high, it's like, if something happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, you're going to get disappointed if you.
Yeah. It basically hits way harder when you're like, this is going to be the most amazing thing I've ever created.
Yeah,
and then
if you look at a game, you're like, oh, this is going to be the greatest. It's going to be so great. It's usually not going to end up being like that. So I think it's good to just have a mindset that if whatever happens just kind of happens, and whatever doesn't happen just doesn't happen. So I'm kind of feeling that way for Roseblight specifically. So.
No, because even for like some of our videos, it's like we were amazing, we were super funny, we talked the whole entire time, and then no one watches it. And then the ones that are like, well, this was okay, and then everybody watches it.
Yeah. So quick rant. I remember a long time ago, I think back when I had maybe like 1,000-ish followers on Twitter, one thing that I did was that I was averaging around to maybe like 20 likes on most of my tweets that I was posting. And one thing that I did is that I saw I think Animal Crossing just came out, and I was like, okay, well, this is a thread regarding Animal Crossing. I'm just gonna reply to one of the tweets up here with a froggy chair meme that I found in another Discord, and that tweet got like, I don't know, got like 800 likes on it. And at that point, I was just like, what? What? Why are you liking this one? I put effort into everything else, and the one thing that I stole from another Discord, you give me all your likes from that. And at that point, I just stopped caring about how many likes I get on my tweets, because at the end of the day, it's just like, it just doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like at the end, because I feel like a lot of people just kind of just go through that, and once you realize, like, you put a lot of effort into something and it just doesn't work out, and then you put effort into nothing, and a lot of people swarm to it. I don't know, it just feels just wrong, And once you kind of accept that's just kind of how things sort of work, it's just like, oh, okay, that's just how it works.
Because also, like, sometimes, like, some of the things that you think are amazing are not amazing to other people.
Yeah.
So it does, like, feel weird, because you're like, I love this thing so much, why does nobody else love it?
Yeah. Yeah, you can grow like the most beautiful apple. You can have like a beautiful orchard with the most beautiful apples, and there's still going to be people in the world that just don't like apples, So no matter what, there's always going to be people that don't like what you like, that's just how it works.
And then you just have to keep going until you do find the people who like the things you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that we're just like on that, your Discord, because I remember, like, I only made this Discord like not too long ago, and then I found out, like, oh, you made a Discord. I was there for a bit, and then it's like just disappeared. I was like,
yeah. Yeah, about the Discord. So I made that as just like a way to just sort of keep in touch with my fans. Actually, I didn't initially make it as a way to keep in touch with my fans. I made it as a way to share files from my phone to my PC. And I put a link on my itch page just as, like, I don't know, maybe someone will join it. But after Roseblight sort of came out, it was people were like, oh, I like your game, blah blah blah, on the Discord. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just make this the Roseblight Discord. And after that, it was an experience. I think the Roseblight Discord, it was nice, but up until like a couple months ago, I started noticing, like, I started getting concerned for my mental health regarding it, because I was the sole person controlling, keeping track of everything. I had like over 100 people in it.
Yeah, like I remember looking at like a whole count before you said, like, I'm just gonna shut it down because, like, a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
I was like, that's a lot.
It's a lot of people, and all the fan art that people made, and all the stuff that people are talking about, and it got a little. It's gotten overwhelming. I just really couldn't take care of it alongside with working on the game itself. So I just decided I can't deal with this anymore.
Yeah. Because I just wanted to just see that. Because that took you out for a while. I was like, is he okay? Is he this? I was like, I'm worried and all that stuff. I was like,
I'm doing fine now. I'm doing. I'm just. I don't know. I just didn't want to make any like rash decisions as a result of like any kind of pressure that I was feeling, because I was, I've over the course of Roseblight's development, I've considered just like just canceling the game and just like stop doing game development just altogether. And I really like working on Roseblight, but I don't want it to basically take over my life, and I have other stuff that I have to do. Like I don't get paid to work on Roseblight. I'm doing it solely out of passion. And once I lose that passion, like no more Roseblight, you know, or anything, you know, like I'll just stop working on it altogether. And I didn't really want to, you know, lose that. You know?
Yeah, that's why I like seeing you make just like some of the jam ones or just fan art of like, okay, good. Like he has his mind at least somewhere else to just like get inspired or just try out different art of like, hey, I made this. You want to take a look? Oh yeah, and then everyone likes it and all that stuff. It's like I love seeing that.
No, because even for us, like basically, I've thought about just stopping Spudcast at least 50 or 60 times, like throughout all the time, because like we do put a lot of work into it, but not so much that it is our life, but we still do like as much as we can. But then we do random things, like we do our live action stuff because it's fun. We do certain games just because it's fun. Like we don't know if anybody else cares, but we just do it because it's something that we want to do for the channel. Yeah.
Like it's good to have like a creative outlet of some kind. It's good that everyone should, you know, do something that they enjoy, you know.
Yeah, and then the other thing when you make contact with like Alpha Beta Gamer and stuff, that reminds me of just like us a little, because we've had like a lot of requests like just over time, and we usually just said like yes. The only time we just like said no was it was like a weird RPG one that just had like way too much cursing and other stuff in the dialogue, so it just didn't seem fun.
No, because also one of them, I remember we did get a request for, but the person was like really cocky about it.
Oh yeah.
Like they're like, I think it was like their first game, and usually we're okay with like playing a person's first game because like they're just trying to have somebody play it. But how they did it was like, oh, you played this game, but my game is way better than this one. So you should play my game instead.
Yeah, it's a red flag.
Yeah. Because usually when you make something that's like okay and you're asking somebody to play it for you or like just check it out, it's really bad when you're praising it super crazy and also taking down somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you just don't seem like a person that, like, you don't seem like a person that kind of deserves help,
or like appreciates other people's work, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's important just to keep an open mind. Like, if you look at your work and it's like, oh yeah, this is great.
No, because we've played everything from platformers to dating sims to whatever, some of the things we've played, and sometimes it's like, oh, I would have never played this, and then we play it and it's one of the funnest things we've played.
Good times come out of nowhere, you know. What's like the worst game that you guys have played? If you don't want to have to name the title specifically, but like what kind of game?
Because
that's if I can remember. Oh god. Let's see.
That one's a hard one just because there's been like thousands of games and I probably have blocked out some of them.
And then for me, it was like, I can remember a lot of them, but I have to see like the thumbnail or just looking back by scrolling through a bunch of things.
And then all the memories come back, and he feels disappointed.
It's like, I remember playing that one.
Because I do love most of the games we've played. And then some of them, like, in the beginning, part of them were like, okay, we just need videos. Even if they're good or bad, or even if the game is like okay, we would still put it out. but most of the time we do try to find things that we at least enjoy, or at least in the video we were having at least the smallest amount of fun.
Yeah.
Because there are some games where we're like, we're not having any fun. This game is not for us, so we end up just not putting that out.
Yeah, we have like a lot of archived old videos and audio, just like these games we played like way back with our old audio were just like ones that we just like didn't feel good. It was like we just have them there in the storage. Might look at them again someday, or just have them just sit there.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there are things that are like, you still have it, but it's just kind of there. Like, you might go back to it, or just leave it buried and see like 10 years later.
Yeah.
But then, like, one thing that sucks is if we look back at a good game, or just like a random game from our videos, and we go to like the link and they're just gone from it, or just gone from somewhere. It's like, I actually like that game. Because one that we played like a long time ago was a dating sim of Team Fortress 2.
Oh, that sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's probably the only time you'll hear my voice as high as it can possibly be.
Yeah.
Because I did it for the heavy. Yeah. Like, I don't even know if I could ever do that voice again. But I did it as high as I could possibly do for like all of his dialogue. And Omar had to listen to it and like lower it while it was being edited.
Well, I was Macho Man Randy Savage. Just the Macho Man voice, just doing the whole thing. And then about 2 times we just got emails of like, do you know where this game is? Or just like where I could find it. It's like, I want to find it too. And all we have is just like the old videos and then the thumbnail from the video, and that's about it. Like, that game is just lost. It's like, I want to play that again, but it's just like buried in someone's like USB or computer that they left somewhere.
Or they just completely erased it.
Yeah. So that's just one that sticks out in my mind right now.
Do you have anything like that where you just buried it or just deleted it?
Like for games, or
yeah, like, is there anything that you were like, okay, I made some stuff for it, but it's just gone now?
Well, as far as like projects that I've worked on, there was one that I have a lot of like prototypes that I just like make and then like never show anybody. Cause I'm just like, this is like okay, but it's not the best. I know that on my itch page I think there's 3 secret games that aren't on my, like, if you go to my actual like itch page, it doesn't show up on there. Those ones are Buckler, the original one, and then you have Cactus Farmer, and then you have DVD video screensaver simulator.
We found those. Yeah.
Those 3 are like, those are games that I made and like put on itch, but I didn't want to delete them because there's a couple of people that actually played them. Like, when I uploaded Cactus Farmer, that was a game that I made in like an hour. I was like, okay, how quickly can I make a game? So I'm gonna make like a really stupid game about growing cactus. And I want to add like a boss battle and stuff like that. And so I made that and put on itch, and people were like, oh man, I love this game. It's so fun. And people made gameplay videos of it. And I was like, oh, I didn't intend for people to actually enjoy playing this game. So I'm just gonna hide it, but I'm gonna leave it up. So, and the same thing with DVD video screensaver simulator. I made that in like 5 minutes, and then it got like, I don't know how many downloads I got, but I got a pretty decent amount. And I was like, oh, okay, well, if people want to download it, or feel free to. So, but yeah, I do have a lot of projects that I kind of just like make, but like never really do anything with. But I think that's an important part of just like growing is just messing around and just seeing what works and what doesn't.
Because for us, usually, I think at least 95% of the things we do one try.
Yeah.
Just because, like, if it's good, if it's bad, at least it's there.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, most of the time, we're actually good.
Yeah.
I don't know how. But, like, sometimes it's just not good, so it just sits there forever.
Yeah.
But it is always just at least try it to see if it will work or not.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, like, oh, I tried this, I actually really like it, I'm actually really good at this, instead of, I'm never going to try this and never actually know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, the same thing with food. Like, oh, this is disgusting. I'm never going to eat this. And then you try it and you're like, this is my favorite food.
Yeah.
I should have more.
Or you try it and you're like, nope, never again. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I tried it. I can at least say I didn't like it. Now no one can bug me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for me, when I was younger, I was just very picky on a lot of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
He would eat everything plain. He didn't like anything touching. If it did touch, then it was basically like tainted. So he wouldn't care for it anymore. But now he tries a bunch of things. But that's just with age. Like,
Yeah.
the older you get, the less you kind of care, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna do this.
But then for like burgers and stuff, I still like a plain burger without like any lettuce, tomato, any veggies at all.
Yep, you survived for like 15 years without eating like one veggie.
Yeah.
I don't know how, and he became taller than all of us.
But then also like way back I was a scrawny boy. Had like it was just all bones and then
Yeah,
like a big old head.
he was a lollipop. He had a head and a stick body. Yep.
It was
Oh.
important.
Now I'm just big and hairy.
Yeah. Just a big hairy weirdo.
Yeah. I've actually lost a lot of weight just over the course of the pandemic.
Mm.
Of like the last year. I think last year to now I lost about 10-ish pounds.
Ooh.
And it's weird as I didn't really change my diet or anything. I was just kind of just like I eat less now. So.
I must
feels nice.
survive, so I have to eat like 3 bites instead of the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta eat something.
Gotta
Yeah.
make it last.
I'm gonna get this candy bar and actually split it in half. Because I want candy for today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
The good old now and later candy. Actually go by the title instead of just like, I have this today, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because with the whole pandemic thing, like, for us, it didn't really affect us just because we kind of stay inside most of the time anyways.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I guess as an introvert, it doesn't really affect you that much. Like, it's not like affects you, but like, it's like, oh, cool.
it's like, well, I get to stay inside more.
Yeah.
Is that a bad thing?
Wait, there's a pandemic going on, huh?
Yeah, because also, like, where we live, it's mostly, like, our economy is mostly, like, field work.
Yeah.
So it didn't really stop because, yeah, in the field, you're still really far apart. And also, most of the things, like, have to be picked or, like, tended to anyways. So nothing really stopped around us.
Yeah. And then it's just like mostly just farmers are just like huge masses of land of just bunch of cows, and then the one house that's there for like the farmer or just somebody who's working there.
So most of the people were still like driving around and like going to work because it's like well, we can't stop picking these apples. We can't like stop doing this or that.
Yeah.
Like the only thing we couldn't really do was like go to Walmart or normal places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? Did you just like stay inside and only went out for the special occasions of shopping?
No, I actually probably got out more. I picked up a part-time job sometime around October. I actually just turned in my 2 weeks notice last week. But I wanted to have I needed a source of income anyway, but I needed to I need to give myself a way to like just sort of get out of the house and sort of force myself to get out. So because I think it's important, like, even, with everything going on, it's important to like go out, like, at least once or twice a week just to see other people. You never really want to be indoors all the time. So especially when you're like sort of forced to be inside by like working from home or something like that. But I think like it's important to like, even if it takes like just walking outside for like 30 minutes or so, it's good to just get out there.
Yeah, to go stare at the sun for a little bit, be like,
yeah,
this
gotta
burns.
remember what the sun looks like. Yeah, make sure it's still there.
It's like the world hasn't ended. I'm still here.
I guess.
Because I don't know, some people it did really, really hit them hard because it's like they can't see their friends, they can't see their family if they're living separate from them, or to even see other people. So it did affect a lot of people. And then we got more depression and then other things.
Yeah, all that jazz.
But then, for certain people it was like, it's bad, but not terrible. It could be worse. Yeah. Like, the sun could be gone and we could not see anybody at all. But, like, I don't know, it was a weird experience because it even feels like it went fast.
Yeah, I was looking at some of my like files on my desktop from like a year ago, and I was like, that was a year ago? Jesus. It feels like the last year has just kind of just like flown by. It's weird.
No, because for certain people it's like every day, like every minute is an hour. For us it was like, it's been a year? Did I hibernate?
I feel like a lot of it you just kind of just like mentally block out because it's just, I don't know, nothing really happened, or nothing of interest happened.
Yeah. It's like, I have internet, so what's on TV?
Yeah.
Well, what can I binge for the next year?
Yeah. What else is there now?
We started one thing and ended up with current news.
Yeah.
We're just getting comfy now.
It usually goes.
Yeah. Well, at least we haven't resorted to seeing how the weather is.
Yeah.
Our weather right now is like, it was really windy, and then it's like,
Oh yeah.
now it's slowed down a bit, but it's still like hitting the house a lot, creaking.
Yeah, it was raining a lot over here. I think it was a couple days ago. We had like a storm that came through. I think actually last night our Wi-Fi went out, and I was like, oh no, I have a final exam tomorrow. I can't have the Wi-Fi go out. No.
No, because for school I would I think only one time that was bad for school because I think I had to take a test at the school, but they were closed and I didn't know what the time was. And also I didn't really have like access from the internet. So that was like one of the few times I actually kind of freaked out. And then I had to talk to one of the teachers, like, I didn't know when I could take the test or how I could take the test. So can I get like an extension? Like, has anything happened at school that's been like, just like, do you have any stories about school or anything?
I guess in general, not particularly. For the past like year or so, it's just been kind of weird because I haven't really gone in. I think last semester I had like one class that was like it had like a optional in-person meeting because I got in a couple times and I was like, yeah, I can't really do this. So most of the time it's just been like online stuff. It's been kind of hard to like online school. You have to like self motivate yourself more. Like it's just more discipline, you know. And a lot of people they kind of it's forcing them to get into that kind of environment. I feel like it's harder just in general.
Because for me, when it was a switch from like high school to college, it was kind of easier for me to turn stuff in online and actually like do things because it was like they give me a week, but I can turn it in the first day. But that's just like how I am. It's like, oh, I can just get this over with. But most people are like, oh, I have 7 days. I'll do it at 5.
I got this.
I'll
I'll let future me take care of it.
Yeah. And then you hate yourself for it of like, this actually would take all week.
Nerve.
It's like, this assignment seemed easy. And it would actually take all week. I have to do it in like 5 hours. Yeah, because in high school I would do that at times.
High school for me was like, I slept a lot. And then middle school, I remember for English, that's when I actually just fell asleep. And they were just like fine with it. Because like, the weird thing, I didn't have English for most of the years in middle school until like the last few months. They said like, oh, he doesn't have English or something. We got to put him in there now. I was like, what? I had English? Why didn't you tell me anything? And like the first or second day I went in, they're just they read a book and then they're gonna watch the movie and they try to use me as an example. They're like, oh, he's like the outside of it. He only watched the movie while we watched the book. How do you feel? I fell asleep on the book and it felt comfortable.
You absorb the story through the osmosis.
And then I have a lot of things of just middle school and high school stuff, but that's another time.
I think middle school was like the first time I had to go to summer school. Because elementary, like I would usually always get like top grades and everything because everything was kind of easy. In the middle school, I skipped school because I would leave like at least I would go like 2 classes and then leave and jump the fence and go to my house. And then other times I just wouldn't do my work. And then I think in high school I slowly had to actually pass.
Oh yeah. And then in middle school for you, did you have like a class for programming or did you just like wanted to try it during that time?
Me, for programming, I actually didn't really pick up programming until I want to say maybe junior year or senior year of high school. I didn't take any classes on it. I actually like kind of self-taught myself. I probably should have taken. I think I had an opportunity to take I guess like a programming class, but I didn't. But yeah, most of what I know about programming is self-taught, and I kind of just figure stuff out as I go along. So.
Because in middle school for me, like basically the big video game college, like in Washington State, like one of them, DigiPen, I think, they did actually have a class in middle school to teach how to make video games. And it was like an after school thing where I think like they give you all the assets and then the code and stuff, and then you're supposed to put it together to figure out like, oh, this is how you put together a game.
Was it like using Scratch or something like that?
I think it was Unity.
Scratch is like, was it Unity?
Yeah, I think they were using Unity or something like that.
Because I remember on their flyers, they just had like the multiple ones, and then the one you just said like sounded familiar. It was like, I think they did have that one, and then Unity, where they didn't know what to do either.
Yeah, because like I was interested because I always wanted to make a video game since I think at least first grade. But then I kind of abandoned it because, like, I don't know. I always wanted to make a video game. I even wanted to go to college for that. But then, at least in high school, I just kind of abandoned that dream.
Well, if you have a dream, you abandon it, and you look back on it, it's like, well, maybe I should give it a shot sometime.
Yeah.
I will say that making video games, it's easy to learn, but it's very difficult to master. Like I'm still learning. I still have a lot to learn. So, but I mean, even if you like take like maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes, maybe just each day, just like watching a tutorial on YouTube and just like following along and doing whatever, or if you do like an art tutorial or a music tutorial, anything, honestly, just like, you can learn a lot just by like, watching tutorials or following along with stuff that you see online.
Because even Omar, like, because we use Adobe for editing, like, you watched Barry's one?
Oh, yeah, because I had a class in high school of just, like, editing, and they just had, like, Adobe, like, the latest version at that time. But then I learned a lot more from watching Barry Kramer from Game Grumps and stuff. Of like just showing like his whole tutorial thing. It was just what to do on Adobe. Here you go, and then he showed this and that, and then from someone else I learned how to just like do better edits, because like there's like this small little box thing that you just like hit, and then it opens up of which frame you're gonna use, and I use that like a lot. I was like, oh, I could do this and that, ease it out so it doesn't look as rough of like it's just like a straight line, but I want to like just make it ease into it. It's like,
gotcha.
Yeah. Because so far we live in a time where basically all information exists, but you have to actually go look for it.
Yeah, I had to go look for it.
You just have to actually like type it in right on the search bar.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I looking for? And then you spell it all wrong. And then spell check kind of tries to figure it out.
I'm pretty sure that like at least 40 to 50% of programming is spent browsing Stack Overflow to see what kind of other problems people have. Like you're like, Apple, how do I do this? So you spend a lot of time just, I think like majority of your computer science degree will just be learning how to Google. So
no, because also in high school we had web design. So I did learn at least the tiniest bit of it, and all I remember is like, if this is true and this is false. Like, if this is true, then it activates this is false, or if this is false, then it activates true. And that's all I remember from programming.
I remember being good, but then like when the class stopped, I was like, how did I do this? And then right after that, I did engineering for class and learned here and there of like other stuff, but it was like we did a lot, but not much, because it would have been like a bigger project. Because we were actually going to do one of the projects where you make a bridge out of toothpicks. So I was like, that sounds cool, but when are we going to do that? next semester, you don't have engineering anymore. Alright. And then we also like used a program to build a bridge and everything. It's really neat. And then you hit play, and then a truck goes over, and then if there's too much pressure, then it just like breaks. They even made like a game of that. I can't remember what it was, but on the program, I remember somebody basically broke it. So when it broke, the car just like sped right across it. It was like, oh, okay, I'm done, teacher. It's like, what's your time on there? 1 second? How? Like, just having like the best time of like, because the truck.
You gotta speed run your engineering assignment.
Yeah, it was like, then everyone started doing that. It was like, just to finish it. It's like, damn it, I love this. It's like, just break the game to just get the truck across, because like when it feels pressure, it slows down, because like it's like someone actually driving a truck and it's getting unstable. But with that, it just broke in half, spun around, and the truck just zoomed right to the other side. It's like, that was good.
Because also remember we did robotics.
Oh yeah.
You did robotics like all high school, and I did it for 2 years?
Yeah.
3 years. And
I did robotics as well.
Oh. You did like Vex robotics or Lego or...
Because I think
it was like I think it's FRC?
Oh, FRC. Yeah.
Yeah.
The like really big ones.
Yeah, the really big ones. So they had like the two they had like the two different competitions. There was the small one and the big one.
Yeah.
And I don't think I went to a lot of the competitions, but I do remember like, I helped with working with the robot. I don't know if I did programming on it.
Yeah, because I think it was for the Bobots.
Oh yeah, Bobots.
Yeah, where it's the really tiny ones, and those ones are mostly programming. And yeah, it was really funny because basically we got a book that would show you like all the things to fill out. It's like, okay, here's all the programming, so it can go forward, back, left, right. And for a competition, like me and my friend just copied and pasted it like crazy. And it's like, okay, when you turn it on, it just goes straight for like 3 seconds, then turns, and then it turns again, and then it stops, and then repeats. And somehow we ended up going to like, I think, the last 2 rounds, because like nobody else knew how to program. And we're the only ones who copied and pasted like crazy. But then we were stopped because basically the one team that actually knew how to program had like a sensor on the robot. So it found ours and like pushed it off of the stage. So we could have made it. Just we needed to copy and paste more. More copy and paste.
Oh, it was so funny just to watch that, because you just see those two guys just walk up, and then the other team, either their robot just like didn't work, or just spun around in a circle while theirs goes like in a circle by going 2 seconds forward, 2 seconds right, 2 seconds down, and all that stuff. And then seeing them like at the very end, see that freaking robot spin around and then like finds its target and just pushes it right off.
Yeah.
It's like,
because it's like, there's somebody way better than us. We could have got a trophy.
But then the funny part, me and my friend and someone else got in the paper instead of you guys.
Yeah.
It was just like the right moment, like when ours didn't do much, but they got like a really good picture of us.
Yeah, because I think we were out of the pit and we were like getting the other robot or something, and then you guys were still there, because I think our teacher was like, okay, you guys stay here so that you can like keep everything safe. And then like the newspaper comes and asks the guys who are just sitting there, like, what are they doing?
Yeah, the whole interview, and then bringing the robot to the table just to set it up, and then that.
Yeah. And then you were able to actually do the big robot
Yeah.
because I wasn't.
The FRC stuff.
Yep. Like, I actually went to it, but I wasn't able to build it.
I remember the last one I got in trouble because where you have to build the armor around it, versus the what the heck is that called? The noodle, and then you cover it with the felt or whatever. And when we got to the competition, they weighed it, checked everything, and said like, "Oh, these bumpers aren't right. You got to redo them." It's like, damn it.
Darn, not the noodles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think one of the times, because like, I think one of the times we just took it off and then like measured it and then just like put it back on because we already got like the okay, so they couldn't stop us.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, oh, your robot is overweight. Okay, let's just take off like some of these. Okay, is it underweight? Yeah. Okay, we'll take it back, put on the weight.
Yeah, we just try to be really sneaky about it. It was like, okay, if your guys are like overweight, just take off the thing and we'll be fine. I was like, thanks, teacher.
Yeah. No, because also, basically when we were doing it, we had like no money at all.
Yeah.
So when we would build a robot and then we have a different competition, we have to tear the other one apart and then make it into another one. So every single time you had to tear parts from another one to make something.
Yeah.
And then after we left, it started getting more funding. So they got like more robots and more parts and everything.
But then like the funny part for those, for the first year that they were doing it, it was like the team like before us, they actually got to go to like the bigger city, to Seattle, and they thought they were like Team Mexico because it was just a group of Mexican kids and the teachers going in, are like, okay, we're ready to find our pit area to work on the robot and stuff. But
Yeah, because basically it was a bunch of Mexicans showing up with a robot, and it's like, oh, you're Team Mexico? No. I know we're a bunch of Mexicans, but that doesn't mean we're from Mexico.
And they could have got away with it because
No, but also remember our teacher doesn't like being called Mexican.
yeah, you know, it just bugged the heck out of
Yeah,
him.
it's freaking funny. He would get mad.
It's like, damn it, don't call us Team Mexico.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, it's fine. It was just one of those random experiences of just like going to the bigger competition, and it's like the different states or all that stuff, which is weird because after that they didn't get to go again because it was like the one time they got funding.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, and also it was really funny because basically I think it was like my second year and like your first year or whatever. And remember the other team won, and it was their like first tournament or whatever, and they were carried by another robot, like, because for that you had to have like teams of 3, and they were basically carried by the other 2 teams, so they ended up winning the whole thing. And then because of that, they went to the big tournament. So when they got to the big tournament, they were crushed.
Oh.
Because they're like, oh, it was like our first tournament, we won, we're amazing, and then they were immediately crushed.
And what was really funny about it, I was like, oh, okay, you guys could go. We'll go to Comic-Con instead of watch you guys.
Yeah, because it was like the same weekend as Comic-Con, like the Seattle one. So they had like a substitute teacher take them because like our teachers were going and we were going to the Comic-Con. So basically they won, but they had to have a substitute teacher and then get crushed.
It was so sad, but it was funny. Like, right when we got back, it's like, hey, how'd the competition go? We lost in, like, the first round. It's like, yeah. There you go.
And then for us, it's like, oh, we had an amazing time at Comic-Con. We, like, met all these people, got all these signatures, bought all this stuff. How was your weekend?
Just getting crushed in the first round, and then they just had to sit there until it was done. It's like, good thing we weren't there.
Good thing we had other things to do.
Yeah.
And then, like, what's before senior again?
Junior?
Sophomore or junior? Junior. My junior year, that was a good year. We actually got, like, trophies and all that stuff.
Yeah, when I finally left, you were amazing.
Yeah. And then, we couldn't go. Like, we had it all planned out. Okay, like, this weekend, we're gonna go to the tournament and actually go to, like, the big tournament where it's like, everyone's good, we're good. But then they canceled that one and moved it, like, during the week. Like, why are you doing that? It's during school. And we can't do nothing, and there's, like, tests and things. So, like, none of us could go and all that stuff. And then also, it was 2 tournaments, too. So they aligned just right. So it was, like, the FRC tournament and then the Vex tournament, and they both merged. So I was like, we can't go to either now. It's like, yeah. So that's our experience with robots, programming, and stuff. How about you?
Very pleasant, yeah. Yeah, I don't really have like a whole lot of just like personal experience because it was like a long time ago, but with robotics, so I don't really remember a whole lot of it. But I think I went to like one or two of the competitions. But yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because I think we went to a lot of tournaments.
Yeah, we just went to as many tournaments as we could, just because.
Because even if we would lose, at least we were doing something with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. Did you guys have a? I don't know if most schools do this, but our robotics team, we had a special at football games. The robotics team, we made a special like T-shirt cannon that we would launch into the stands like during the game at certain points. I don't know if like other schools do that, but that was one of the things that we did. And that was kind of cool. It helps like move it around and stuff like that. So that was fun.
That sounds cool.
I think our school was too poor because I think. I remember somebody. I remember. Didn't they throw like some of the shirts into the crowd before?
Yeah, and then there used to be a T-shirt cannon, but I remember seeing it like in one of the store places like upstairs because like for the science room there's just like the stairs right there to like their attic and stuff. So we would just go up there to look at things, and there was just like the old T-shirt cannon. It's like, damn, it's huge, and it could fit like a couple in them because I had like the big tube. So I was like, dang, I want to try this. I was like, nope, we can't do nothing with it. It's like,
I don't know, for us, somebody would have probably stolen it anyways.
Yeah, a lot of random things.
Yeah. We're not the best place.
But it's fine. We turned out fine.
Yeah, you guys are doing pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, our school, it's basically the lower one out of like the 3 that are around here.
Yeah.
But also, we are kind of the toughest one. Just because, like, we're smaller, so the teachers actually pay attention to you. So, like, if you actually fail, they'll be like, yeah, you should probably be doing better. And then, like, the bigger school that's next to us, basically there's one teacher for, like, 200 students.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, they pass or fail, we're fine. We have, like, 110 out of like 200 passing. We're good.
It's natural selection.
Yeah. For us, it's like, well, you have like maybe 20 people in this class. At least 12 of you have to pass.
Yeah, it's just like the small classes are just like sometimes full just because like enough people actually came to school.
Or because everybody was signed up for that one class. And then like a week or two later, half of them have to move to other classes. Because like, oh, everybody wants to do like
Welding.
yes. It's like everybody wants to do welding, so everybody signed up for it. We have 50 students in here. We can't fit. Okay, some of you have to move to English, some of you have to do it to like florist stuff, other ones have to do this, like.
But then you hear
You
like
can't have
all
as
this,
many welders.
Yeah.
it's like you just hear the stories like, oh, being in welding was like the funnest time. We would just mess around, just weld anything. Like, oh, cool. They told me that it was like too full, so I couldn't get in. Oh, okay. Just walking back to like the science room of like, okay, I'll just be in here. And then for like our science teacher, he was just really cool. He liked video games and all that stuff, so we would just like hang out, do robotics, and play video games too.
Yeah. Because, yeah, like after school for robotics, at times, like our teacher brought, I think, yeah, he brought his N64. And we just played with like connected to the projector. And that was like our whole after school, like one day.
Ah, nice.
And also, yeah, like good games because it was a student that just liked being there, always like hung out with the teacher, and like he didn't need his 64 anymore, so he like gave him the whole setup with like Star Fox, Conker's Bad Fur Day, other ones. Is like, these are good ones. It's like, dang.
Yeah.
School's fun and bad at the same time.
Yeah, that's definitely an experience.
Yep. And you only have to do it for like 10 plus years.
Yeah.
12, 13, 14. Eh.
And then how long have you been in like college or whatever?
Whatever you're doing.
Yeah. I think this is my third year in college. I think I'm probably going to finish my degree in like 4.5, 5 years. So, as people usually do. Oh yeah, it's been good so far. I've met a lot of people. You know, learned a lot of stuff. I just finished all my finals. So yay, summer starting. What?
Yeah.
Always nice. Like as soon as you hit, there's like that weird transition period where you go from just constant stress to just like nothing. You know, it's just like it's like a roller coaster, except it's just like you just fall off. You know, so.
Yeah. Because yeah, for Renato, he finished. What did you finish? Yeah, you got your AA.
The train it's attacking over.
And then like for me, college is like I want to do it, but then I could never think of like what to do. And then also it's just like I don't want to go in there and just like not know what to do, and also just money and stuff. It's like but at least Renato is a college boy. You went to college.
Yeah, I just went for business because it was like the most general one.
Yeah, it's usually a pretty good just general one they want to get into.
Yeah. Plus, also, I kind of like some of the stuff in business, so it worked out.
You get to learn about stonks.
Yeah, because so far, one of the classes, like, I think I was okay with most of them, but one of them I think it was at like 5 or 6 in the morning, and it was like an hour long. And I do not remember anything about it. All I remember is that I barely passed because I think one of the assignments was you have to go to a courtroom and observe it. And that was like 30% of your grade or something. And I didn't do it. So I passed with like, I think 60. Yeah. But yeah, most of the classes I was fine with, just having to wake up super early for a possibly boring class. Yeah.
Yeah. I always make sure that when I sign up, you always want to sign up like super early, just so you want to get like times that you're comfortable with. And I always like go on, I think it's Rate My Professor. I always search up all my professors before I actually sign up for the class. So I know, like, okay, so this is a person I should watch out for, or this is a good teacher, so I should probably sign up for that. So.
This one will help you sleep.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like, you'll probably have, like, your face will probably be messed up from laying on that desk for a while, but yeah, at least you'll have a full night of sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because for college, I basically just, like, went to the classes and then just, like, left home. I didn't really do anything other than what I had to.
Mm-hmm. You had, like, one kind of friend?
There was, like, one guy who I think he was going for, like, his 4-year, and I would just randomly see him, like, every so often. And then I think I had, like, another friend.
Because I remember one of them always read the Berserk manga. Because I remember you talked about that. I was like, huh, seems interesting.
I don't remember. It's been a long time. I would have probably had, like, a master's degree or something if I kept going by now.
What are you going college for? Like, what are you studying?
I'm just aiming for a bachelor's in computer science. I don't know if I want to get a minor in anything or if I want to get my master's. I'm not entirely sure. I thought about getting a minor in game design and development. But as far as I know, I don't know if like something like that would be like really worth it, you know?
Yeah.
Because like getting a degree in game design development, because it's such a like a I guess like a young and niche field. There's a lot of people who are applying, but there's not a lot of jobs that are out there. So I'm not like trying to apply for a game design development job specifically. I guess that's kind of why I want to keep it as like my hobby, you know? Because I enjoy doing it, but don't think like if I wanted to pursue it professionally, not only would I lose my passion to do it, but I also don't feel like I would be successful. Like going out there and like, because our area doesn't really have like a lot of like big game studios. There's like one or two, but other than that, it's just like, I don't know.
No, because also like unless you go to like a specific college for that, then it's harder because those ones usually like help you like, well, we have a bunch of these students, take them.
Yeah.
And also in Washington, we're basically surrounded by like game companies. Like we have Nintendo, we have Microsoft, we have a bunch of indies.
A bunch of indie ones.
Yeah.
So it's like
maybe I'll move over there where you guys are.
Yeah, because it's over here. Plus we have Seattle.
Yeah.
It's Seattle.
Pretty big.
Just nobody likes living in Seattle.
Yeah.
You live around Seattle.
Yeah.
Unless you have money.
Because around it, it's nice. It got like the forest, nice to look at, rainy, so like the weather's just like it feels good.
You basically get like a log cabin outside of Seattle, but then when you go in Seattle, you have like a 1-room apartment that you're paying a lot for.
And going up so many hills.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because like I think a couple years ago when it actually like really snowed and stuff in Seattle, the whole town stopped because they didn't know how to react to it. Because basically all of Seattle is just like downhill slopes. So all of it being covered in like some ice and snow. Yeah. And usually there's already like normal crashes when there's like nothing. So adding like sliding cars and stuff to that does not help. Yeah.
But everywhere else is fine.
Yeah. Because it's a very weird state. Because,
also, like,
yeah.
it's the Rocky Mountain is like right in our state, and then also we have like the 3 volcanoes basically that we could see from our house.
Yeah. Because we basically have a semi-desert, and then we have forest, and then we have hills, and then we have plains, and then we basically have everything around here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You drive a couple hours in some direction, and then you're in like another place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long has it been?
It's been 45 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, like an hour and 40 some.
dang.
You have to edit this.
I know.
And good luck uploading this to YouTube if you do.
Oh, yeah.
No, because also way before when we started, our internet, let's see, I think getting 1 megabyte was like a miracle.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And we had that for at least 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah, like when we got our current internet, which isn't like extremely fast, but it's at least like good. But when we got it, it was like everything can actually upload and download.
Because we had to leave a laptop or just like the computer on all night, and maybe it's uploaded.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they would just like either mess up in the middle of the night and we don't know, and then we have to try to upload it again.
And they weren't even like that big of videos. They were probably like 10 to 12 minute videos, and we'd have to upload all night and hope that YouTube doesn't mess up, or that the computer didn't update in the middle of the night, or just didn't fall asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do not know how we even did like daily uploads like that.
But even that, we used to do like 2 videos in the day too for some of them. We did that for like a good while. But
yeah,
then,
we tried that for like 2 weeks. You died.
Yeah. And also like no one was watching. So I was like,
Yeah.
And also I used to edit every day. Now I do it like every other day, just to actually do something at night instead of like I just edit the whole time and don't get to play a game or even watch anything. So it's
Yeah,
like
you could just space out your work so you're not like overwhelmed and go. So.
Yeah. Because then he has to hear my voice every single day through video.
I'll also hear my voice too.
Yeah, but remember you hated my voice. You even told me that you hated hearing my voice.
For a while. Those are the times back in the year 2010s.
Back in the 2010s. It is weird that the 2000s was a long time ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
We're in the 20s.
We're in the roaring 20s to Electric Boogaloo.
See, back then in the 90s, they thought we'd have flying cars, and we'd have either robots taking over the whole world or aliens.
Yeah.
Now it's like, it's not as cool as we thought it was going to be.
The 1990X. Or the 20XX. The future. Yeah. Time's time. Oh, God.
Yes, you're getting old.
No,
And you're only in your 20s.
Yeah, real.
My back's all good. It's just like the straightest back anyone has.
Yes. Like, one of the times when we went to the doctors, they asked him if he was the guy who was in the car accident.
And that was in middle school, and they were asking, like, has he been in a car accident or driven anywhere? No. He's in middle school, and his back just hurts because, like, his beds or something. That's why we came here to check. And they just told me, like, you have, like, the most straightest back, and they just don't know what to do, so they just gave me, like, muscle relaxers and all that stuff. So I was like, huh, weird. But I'm fine with it. It's, my height is like 6'3", so I was like, that's pretty good height.
Yeah, but also you can't slouch at all.
Yeah, I know, or it just hurts.
And then me, I slouch all the time. I'm good. Yeah.
Just have good posture,
Yeah.
especially sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How tall are you? Let's put that on the wiki.
I think I'm. I forgot. 5'8", 5'9".
Huh.
Yeah, because me,
I'm
when
medium
I
sized.
yeah, for me, when I stand straight, I'm 6 foot exactly. But normally, I think I'm like 5'10". I think. Yeah. Somehow the baby turned into the tallest.
Yeah, the baby of the family.
Yep.
Just the tallest one.
Yep. And then most people think you're older than me.
And the funny thing, like, I look intimidating, and sometimes I just, like, don't want to talk to, like, anyone, but they approach me instead of Hanato. So it's like, hi. You just see, like, the tall thing. I was like, oh, he seems older, or, like,
He looks older and wiser and less troll-like.
even though I'm, like, really hairy, and just, like, I don't want to talk to you right now. I just want to, like, get my stuff, or just, like, get something to eat. It's like, talk to this guy, or just, like, tell me what you need, and then I'll walk away.
No, but also remember in high school, actually most of school, because there's, in our family, there's 3 brothers and 1 older sister. And basically everybody would know our older brother, and everyone would know Omar. I was
The middle.
yes. Like, I'm either Omar's brother or our older brother's Jerry. So I'm Jerry's brother or Omar's brother. People would not know my name. Partially because it's hard to pronounce anyways, and also it's way easier to say somebody's brother.
Oh, let's see. Can you pronounce Hanato's name? It's like Jenaro. That's it.
Yes.
That's how
Hanato?
you pronounce it. Like Gennaro or Hanato.
Hanato sounds I guess that sounds natural. Like, which one do you normally go by? It's Hinata, right?
Yeah, Hinato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's also a weird one because I guess like the normal way of spelling it is with a G instead of a J.
Ah.
Yeah, so my name is already weird. Plus it already spelled weird too. And also I kind of had a complex of that when I was younger because I was a kid and I was like, why can nobody say my name? I can say it right. Why can you, an adult, not say it right? So I'd always be correcting like everybody of how to pronounce it. Yeah. But then eventually I just stopped caring because it's like, if you can't say it, then okay.
Well, then even like your middle name is unique too, so that's even weirder too.
Yep.
And then mine is just like a Viking name, and then my initials is just O.
Yep.
O.
Oh.
Yeah.
The O. Plus, it was funny because when he was younger, he could only identify things like he could basically only identify the letter O. So anything that had the letter O on it, he would say it was his. And because of our last name, it's Orozco, we would put that like on our VHS tapes and things that we had. So he would see like the 3 O's and be like, okay, this is mine. So anything with our last name on it, he would be like, okay, this is my name. So he would just hoard everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a weird little kid.
Yeah, I'm
Weren't we
unique
all?
now. Yeah.
Yeah, we go from weird little kids to weird teenagers to weird adults to old people.
Weird old people. Yep.
Yeah, but at least when you're a weird old person, they're like, okay, you're just old.
Yeah.
When you're an adult and you're weird, it's like there's something wrong with that person.
What's wrong
Keep
with
your
you?
kids away from that man. Just out of Walmart looking at the games like stay away from him. Or just like looking at the toys because like there's just like cool stuff in there like okay, we'll go around.
It's like I like all these things, but there's also like little kids around me.
Well, it's like sometimes annoying just like go somewhere else. I want to look at this. And then like it was like a long time ago at a GameStop, they had like the Rock Band display, so they had like the huge boxes. And I was just like trying to look at games and stuff. And then the kid would like walks by like behind me and trips on like the box because like it was just like right in the like right next to the game rack. So I was like just scoot this over a little so people could like pass by. But when the kid like tripped, the mother was like, "How could you do that? He's a child." It's like, okay, I'm 12. I'm looking at like the PlayStation 2 stuff, trying to figure out what to even get for like $20. It's like just the random times. Yeah. Well, we had like good conversations. Talk about you and your video games, life, and then up to like now.
Yeah.
But this was really fun.
That's fun.
Like the-
Yep.
I'd like to do this like more, just like more of you or just like other people.
Totally
Or other
fine.
people
I
and
love
you.
talking to you guys. It's good. It's been pleasant. So
Yeah.
you're more than welcome to invite me again. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just talk about more random stuff just for podcasting.
that's totally fine with me.
Yeah.
Good to talk about random stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the next person is gonna be Riss at some point. Just he has to see when he has time because he I was asked him if he wanted like just to test the audio and everything like yesterday, like right after I was talking to you, but then he said like, oh, he has to do school stuff because like now his whole school is starting the year off now, so he doesn't have like
Oh,
the much of the break because probably like they were shut down or just something else just from online and all that jazz. It's
gotcha.
like, yeah, like we could wait. Like we love you. We know your game and we'll still support you about anything. So it's like, just gotta talk to you someday.
Yeah. Or it's like, I love you so much. Here's my kidney. Here's my wallet. Here's.
No, it's gonna have to split up between like Alex and him a little. So it's like, I can't split
share.
that.
So one of you get the wallet and one of you get the kidney.
I call dibs on the kidney.
I got 2 kidneys, so it could get around.
I'll take both.
Alright, we gotta like end it here so I can put it up tomorrow or later.
Alright.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, it was really fun. Oh yeah, this was the Spudcast. I didn't even say that in the beginning, but yeah, that was it. Alright, we're gonna let you go.
Okay. I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah. See you, man.
Bye.
Yeah.